While we continue to work to overcome attitudinal barriers, we must also address the legal and bureaucratic barriers that often make it impossible for people with disabilities to access community living options. In disability circles, these barriers are referred to as institutional bias.
Because we don't have a coherent national policy, we have a lot of public provision of funding, but not a lot of oversight and rationalization of the system. We have sort of the crisis du jour. We have one problem pop up, another problem, and there's no system for reconciling that. So Medicaid often has been used as kind of a band-aid. We'll slap Medicaid on that wound until we can get back to it. We did that in the early 70s when we discovered that there was this problem of increasing longevity of people with debilitating conditions that needed long-term care, so we created a long-term care benefit in Medicaid, and unfortunately the way we did it spawned the creation of the nursing home industry, and we've been trying to dig out from under that institutional bias ever since.
Our long-term care system is based on a medical model that has remained essentially unchanged since its creation nearly 40 years ago. Today, this system warehouses over 1.4 million Americans in nursing homes, primarily through Medicaid dollars. The Supreme Court addressed institutional bias in the landmark Olmstead decision. The court handed down a ruling that stated, in part, that unjustified placement or retention of persons in institutions severely limits their exposure to the outside community and constitutes a form of discrimination.
The Supreme Court didn't specifically state when these things must happen or how they have occurred. In fact, it recognizing sort of the balancing approach that the state has to have.